Hi, this is Shannon. Today we're going to be talking about two of the probably most important hormones in the whole body, aldosterone and antidiuretic hormone, ADH, also known as vasopressin. So the main differentiation factor between aldo and ADH, aldo is responsible for saltwater absorption, whereas ADH is solely responsible for water, not salt reabsorption. So aldosterone, the main stimulus for aldosterone release is hypovolemia, which is sensed by the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. So the GGA cells sense hypovolemia, and then they produce renin, which converts angiotensinogen to A1, A1 to A2. A2 then tells the body that we need more aldosterone. And then the second stimulus is high serum potassium. So potassium is inverse with salt and water in the body. So we have high potassium, that says we have low salt water and we need to reabsorb more, which is aldosterone's goal. So when you sense the hypovolemia via the RAS and angiotensin 2, and then the high serum potassium, that is sensed in the adrenal cortex, and that tells us, okay, we're going to produce aldosterone. And then, so this is a macrovascular view, and then this is a microvascular view. So the aldosterone is produced in the cortex, and then goes specifically to the collecting duct. So the way to remember this is, I don't know, you just have to, it's only in the collecting duct. So Aldo says, okay, let's grab all the salt and all the water from the collecting duct in exchange for all the potassium and all the protons, hydrogen ions. So when you have chronically high aldosterone levels, you end up with hypokalemia and then metabolic alkalosis because you're pissing out all your protons. So that's kind of the physiology. Just remember cortex into the kidney, collecting duct. So cortex, collecting duct, both the C's is kind of the aldo path. Two problems we have with high and low aldo. With high aldo or adrenal excess, we have Cushing's, and then with low aldo, also low cortisol, adrenal insufficiency is Addison's. So just remember those problems are related to the adrenal gland. And then just to review, within the cortex, we have the three layers. We remember them as ACE, aldo, cortisol, and then estrogen, testosterone. So that's kind of those three produced in the cortex. So we're going to move on to ADH.
Hi guys. So as Shannon had mentioned, ADH stands for antidiuretic hormone, also known as vasopressin. So that's what we're reviewing today. So what happens here is your brain distinguishes that you're hypovolemic, so you have a low water volume. And what it does is it acts on the posterior pituitary, which will release oxytocin, and then it's going to lead to ADH release as well, which will then act in the kidneys. And so specifically what you want to know is that ADH acts in the distal convoluted tubule as well as the collecting duct. And so that's kind of where we darken these areas. One thing we also want to really reiterate is that the thick ascending limb is always dilute fluid. So remember, oh, she's thick. She drinks lots of water and she's dilute. So we have that dilute fluid, and that's the only real area within this system that you'll find that you have that dilute fluid. So again, ADH really acts upon the distal convoluted tubule and the collecting duct. And so when it's not present, you're going to find that water is impermeable in these areas, so it's not able to reabsorb into the interstitial areas within this body. But when it is present, you're going to find that the water is permeable, so you're going to be holding on to that water. So when antidiuretic hormone is present, you're going to have concentrated urine because you're going to be reabsorbing all of that water into your body. Therefore, when you urinate, it is going to be concentrated. So one thing to know is that if you have an increase in antidiuretic hormone, you're going to be having SIADH. If you have a decrease, you're going to be having diabetes insipidus. So again, the main points here, antidiuretic hormone, it's going to be coming from the brain, and you're going to also know it as vasopressin, and it acts upon the distal convoluted tubule and the collecting duct. So those are the major points. And again, just one important topic we wanted to touch on is that she's thick, and she's thick because she's dilute and she drinks lots of water. So thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time.